Yo,
Malvicious.
you already know, man, what's going on, bro?
Man, it's a pleasure. I'm glad to have you on the horn. Yesterday was a big draft day for us. And, man, I know we're going to jump right into it. How'd you feel about the draft, man? New York Knicks.
Oh man, I gotta be honest, bro. I was waiting on the draft. I fell asleep, and then I woke up to just like Twitter notifications going off. People started mentioning me because we took Obi Toppin, and I was like, oh my god, this is not the direction that I expected to go. But all in all, after all of the moves that were made today, I think we had one of the best drafts of the 30 teams in the league. Honestly, how do you feel about it?
Same way, big time. We on a podcast that we did a couple days ago, Obi's name was brought up, and I remember saying I didn't want the guy, right? I
Yeah, I was
remember,
on board with you, bro.
and I did have some upside with him. My biggest beef with him was the defense.
Hmm.
Has things changed? To look at it now and to see the whole story, he's a New York kid and his background. I think he's going to bring it. I don't. It's not like I'm tricking myself, but I really feel like that was the best pick. Now I really feel like, honestly, I feel like that was the best pick. And I hope it doesn't sound like I'm switching up, but I'm glad. I'm happy with the pick. I'm happy with the moves we made. I love the second round pick. I mean, the second pick that we had in the first round,
Right,
which is
quickly.
for Emmanuel quickly. That
Hmm.
was my guy. I really was hoping we were gonna get that kid.
Really?
And yeah, he could ball. He could
I,
ball.
I wasn't too familiar on his game, but I did see mocks where he was dropping to kind of like later in the second round. So, but I mean, mind you, this draft, as you said, is not going to have a lot of like perennial all stars in it. But there's a lot of guys in the draft that are going to be around in the league a long time. This draft was deep, honestly, and there were guys even taken undrafted afterwards, getting signed by teams that are really going to make a difference and are going to end up on opening day rosters. So.
Right. I was a real. I think you said there was a lot of depth in this draft. Like, I was impressed by the quality of players. Not like no real all stars,
Right.
but except maybe the top three. And I was actually kind of puzzled that Okoro went what do you go number
5, I think, to the
five to
Cavs.
the Cavs,
I think that's a
and
really good fit, honestly.
I do
Really
too
good fit.
too. And then when see and I'm watching the draft, and they took him at 5. I was kind of like, whoa, they messed everything up. But then I was like, well, we still got Vessel there. We'll probably get Vessel. So I thought, but then Obi, the cool part on watching it, every pick from 4 to 7, I was like, oh, they're gonna get Obi. Somebody's gonna take Obi. I'm like,
Yeah,
Obi. And then it was like, and
he
I'm
kept
like, oh,
dropping.
and I'm like, yo, the Knicks is about to get. I'm like, once I see him drop, because I didn't think he was gonna go past like 5.
Yeah,
So when he
I
went,
was like,
yeah,
that's crazy, bro.
so when he got to us at 8, I'm like, yep, he's a Nick. And I'm like, he's if we didn't have to draft down to get him, and we got him at 8,
Right,
it's all good. It's all good. I'm good with that. I'm
right.
fine with that.
Because there was speculation that we were gonna trade the 8 and then our later picks to move up to like 2 or 3 or something like that. And I'm super glad that we didn't end up doing that because it ended up working out in our favor. I was really, really surprised that a lot of teams passed up on Obi, especially considering a lot of the lottery bound teams, they're up and coming rosters that kind of need that immediate NBA help. And I felt like Obi was, out of this whole bunch, he was the biggest proven winner. And he just kept falling. And honestly, I was looking at the picks that were taken after Kira went to New Orleans. I know a lot of Knicks fans wanted Kira. But aside from Kira, Tyrese Halliburton, who I also didn't want, he ended up falling too to the Kings. And then you have Devin Vassell, who also fell to the Spurs. So I was like, it could have gone either way for me. I think Pop is going to do an amazing job with Vassell. He has that kind of, he might not have the same exact wingspan and weight, but he has probably a better shooting touch than Kawhi, I think, personally, form wise. And I think that he's gonna become a great defender under Popovich. But I'm super happy that we got Obi at 8 because he was just especially now that I look at the construction of this roster. For one, is gone definitely. There's no way Randall is going to come off the bench. And two, you have a guy that is extremely offensively polished. He's a guy that's going to come in. He plays well above the rim. He has a little bit of playmaking abilities. He can shoot in transition. So that's regardless of whether or not where our defense stands, and Tibbs is still bolstering our roster with all of these defensive pieces that he's adding in. Obi is already going to give us a dynamic presence in the open floor and in the interior.
I'm with you on that. I want to say one thing because the way that Leon looked like he does everything, he's not going to get rushed into a trade. He's not going to do a trade he doesn't like.
Oh man,
right. So with that said, I'm not too for sure if Randall is not on the roster opening day. I think it's a possibility he could be with us. And
oh man, I don't think that. I would hate that. I would hate that, bro.
And he probably would start over Obi. And the reason why I say that is just because I think he'll say I'd rather hold him for ransom, which is Randall, and build up his value, than to say I'm going to take a bad trade right now. Because it just looks like to me he's not going to take any bad trades. He's not going for the okie doke.
Right.
And if this Westbrook trade is the one that's he's looking at hard, which I believe that's the one he's looking at real hard.
Right.
He's going to be like, well, no, if Houston's trying to, because it seems like Houston, they put the brakes on the trades for everybody,
for Russ and Harden.
So So it looks like they trying to play these games, or they're telling Russell and Harden like, hey, the teams that we giving you, we're going to trade it to you. Like they got to give us some kind of compensation. So that's why I feel like Rose, he's going to be like, well, if I can't get the best out of this trade, I'll keep Randall. He'll start. I'll have the rookie coming off the bench. I'll build up his value and then do a mid-season trade for around playoff time right before the trade deadline. So I wouldn't be surprised if Randall was still a Knick, just because he's not going to let any team take advantage of us right now.
Right, and as you've seen, he was showing discretion in the draft. He made we had 8 and 27, I believe, and he turned that into we had 8, 25, and I believe it was 8, 27, and 33, and I think he flipped it, and we ended up getting 25 and 33.
Right.
So I was like that. Man, that's one of the smartest moves. He didn't give up anything. He didn't give up any future assets. He didn't give up any cash considerations, and he literally basically swindled into that deal of just moving us up in the lottery without losing anything of value. So I was like, damn, this front office is coming in, as you've said and expanded on. They're not trying to pull the trigger on things right away, which we've seen with the old Knicks regimes. They're bringing in a lot of smart players. Everybody that they cut today is who I initially wanted to have cut. Alfred Payton, Wayne Ellington, thank God. I hate this game. Bro, I mean, I saw Wayne come in on the team and he was like, bruh, I can't wait to hold these guys accountable. We're going to defend 94 feet. And he came in, bro, he wasn't even getting off the bench. The 3-point shooting, which is the thing that he was brought on to do, he wasn't getting his shots off. He was shooting a lousy percentage. So good riddance to him. I do hope that we don't bring back Bobby Portis. I think.
He's gone already.
Yeah, but I think that they were in talks with him and Taj Gibson, and Wooten. There's talks among those three guys that I think that Leon Rose wants to bring back. I like any of those guys, but yeah, I mean, I think that I'm not gonna put too much faith in what the sports media says, because the Knicks were tied in with a lot of draft prospects prior to the draft, and the Obi train didn't start picking up noise until maybe 1 to 2 days right before the draft. And I had no idea Leon Rose was looking at topping like that, which I'm glad he did, but it just ended up working out really good for us.
It did. And then just it's crazy because the culture of the Knicks, even on social media platforms like